There we go. The fortune tree is now staked up. You see the rope going to it, and the knot, it's a very loose knot. I mean loose in that large neck on it. I want it nice and open, not to strangle the tree, but not to slip on the bark. This tree was a central leader type tree, but when this maple tree in the corner had its top, it tended to grow away from that tree, and the central leader started growing off to the side. It's this top, the longest branch here, and the whole tree started leaning. And I don't mind. I kind of like the center leader type tree, but open center is fine. It's now an open center tree, but it was leaning more and more, and I was afraid that its first fruit set this year would cause it to tip way over, and I want to avoid that. So add some rope, stake it down, let the roots reroot a little bit, and hope for the best. The soil here is very light soil. It's peat moss, 6 to 12 inches of peat moss, and sand. So the roots are not very well anchored. No clay in here at all, except for about maybe 30 feet down. So there, we'll try and give these two trees a chance of survival. Now let me show you one other thing. These crossed sticks over here, I use these during near harvest time when the apples are getting very heavy on the tree. I have my brother has a sawmill, and he gets these sticks from the ends. I just take 2 long sticks, put a zip tie or 2 to hold them together, and then I put this under a branch. If I can get this under here. These are for a very tall branch that's hanging down, but I can just fork it up like that and keep the apple branch from breaking under the weight of its branches. Now, a lot of times it's best to actually brace it as the branch is actually tipping down. Don't force the limb up at 45 like that, because it may break right here if there's enough weight out on the end. But once the branch bends downward, you can still brace it up off from the ground to keep from going getting too heavy and breaking off at the stump, at the main leader. So I will this branch, or these fork sticks here, I use for the upper ones, but I have all heights that I use. And when they're not in use, I just remove them out of the way, lean them up against the fence. I can get these things off. There we go. Lean them up against my polypropylene fence, and help to hold the fence up in the winter time. Keep it from breaking down from the weight of the snow load. Sometimes you get a sleet and snow that sticks to these fences. Not too often. They shed snow very well. And I just notice I just put it around the edge of these trees, and use staples to hold it on. The staples sometimes break off. But the fork sticks just help hold the fence straight in the winter time when they're under the most stress. In this orchard, is I actually cut it out of the woods. Did a little bit of frontiering here, and I cut all the trees out. You still see some of the stumps. Took a chainsaw one spring day and opened this area up. It's about 50 feet across, 50 by 70 feet maybe, within the fenced area. Removed all the logs, fenced around it, and started mowing and fertilizing. And I had a little orchard right in the midst of, right next to this road here that I live on. And it's a nice little orchard. Low ground, just above water line, and It's well because I like a low ground for an apple tree. Apple tree can take the low ground, and it does not have to be watered. Since this is 300 yards, 200 yards anyway from my house, so I've never had to water these trees. I have a couple pear, orchis, and Warren, and Liberty apple. The pears have not done well. I've lost about 3 or 4 at least pears in this low land here. They don't tend to like that low ground. The apples can survive in it though. I had a red delicious and a red chief, which is a sport of a red delicious. That's those 2 trees there that look kind of short because I top worked them off. Just this spring I wanted to bring this thing into some sort of apple variety that I enjoy. So as you can see, it's got a, maybe if I can skyline those. There you go. The cyans are coming along well. I used the grafting wax to help seal around the bottoms, and I also used what's that called? A paraffin wax tape, which is very cheap on eBay. A medical tape, I believe it is. It's paraffin wax, very thin and stretchy. And then I put some electrician's tape around. Here we see in the Dayton, we see the blossoms that are dying. We had a frost, 25, 26 degrees Fahrenheit, and it killed them all. This branch was just loaded profuse with blossoms, and I don't see any that are surviving now. Oh, we do have. Here's a couple apples right there. That's how big they should be. How many apples are on this tree? I don't know. I don't see too many at all. Maybe we'll just get a sample of them. Over here on the Fortune, we have a couple blossoms that we see. The apples, one there and a small one there. Couple small apples. Yeah, I see them. This tree has about the most. It had a very late blossoming time. Here's an apple that's not going to make it. That's already fallen off. The Fortune tree here, a very long blossoming period. From one end of the frost through the week, it probably blossomed for 2 weeks. So I'm not surprised that I got a couple apples from there. First year for the Fortune tree. First year I have some apples from that. The Dayton, there'll be a few on there, but not too many. I tied this branch down. My daughter, Danae, likes to pick apples for me. She's 5. I'll be 6 this fall, and she's rather short, and she likes some branches that are low, so I pulled some of these down so they'll be within her reach. Other than that, I don't see any other apples out here in this orchard, although they were all in blossom except for the pears.